Welcome to Privacy Talks, one of our segments of Voices of Privacy. My name is Donna Wertalik with my co-host and co-founder, Belanger. And today we have Jessica Dhillon, who is the head of global product marketing at McAfee. Welcome, Jessica.
Thank you so much for having me today. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's so great, and we have really just some key questions as we look at the world today that we live in and everything with privacy. Wanted to just get your overall kind of perspective on, as the head of all of global marketing at McAfee, how does your company view consumer privacy?
It's essential. It's a cornerstone to our mission to provide secure digital experiences for our consumers. Our products are designed to provide comprehensive identity, privacy, and security or device protections. And ultimately, what we're helping to do is to eliminate or greatly reduce unauthorized access to devices or to personal information. And so it's ultimately what our aim is to empower our consumers to connect confidently online. But as we provide these critical, essential protections, it's so important that we as a company are transparent with our users. We need to comply with the privacy laws. We need to ensure that our consumers' data is handled responsibly and securely.
Thank you. Nice to meet you, Jessica. What major changes have you seen relating to information privacy, maybe in the last 4 to 5 years?
We've seen a tremendous amount of change over the last 5 years. The most significant is just that stronger privacy and regulation laws. And those have really raised the bar for data protection. And you're seeing many countries and many other regions that are following suit. We're also seeing a number of other trends that are following within the same vein. One example would be just this shift towards privacy by design. And really, what that is that at the early stages in developing a proposition, that companies are really considering and ensuring that privacy is built into the systems, that it's at the forefront as opposed to an afterthought. There's also just really increased focus on consumer consent. That is something that's really critical for us here at McAfee. But you're seeing other companies follow suit and just really giving consumers the choice in a lot of instances in terms of the types or the amount of data and having consumers consent to the type and amount that are collected. And one of the other things that I'll just highlight is just, overall, there's just a lot more concern and a lot more awareness for consumers in terms of where their information is, where they're providing consent, and how might they help limit or mitigate the amount of information that is collected. And so you're also seeing consumers trend toward privacy-focused solution. VPN is one example of that. Encrypted messaging apps is another. Additionally, just privacy-focused search engines as another example of that.
So that's really interesting because we've talked about privacy by design quite a bit for, on Voices of Privacy, because it really is, let's make sure privacy is already there because consumers, struggle to keep up with everything that's happening. From an organizational perspective, what makes companies want to really dive into privacy by design?
One, it's becoming more of a need to have versus a nice to have. And what you're seeing is that consumers are paying attention when they have a choice. And you can see that there are instances where different providers are just more transparent over the types of information that they may collect or that they need to collect. And now it's a choice for consumers. There's enough out there where they can choose brand or solution A versus solution B. And yes, performance is a mandate, but so is privacy. It's increasingly becoming a mandate. And if a consumer now has that choice, they may start to choose that solution or offering that's likely to collect less of their information.
So privacy has a value. And talking about consumers, if you had to pick your top tips for consumers on what they could do to protect their privacy, because you see this all the time and we know security and privacy are related, but what do you tell your friends or your top tips?
Well, what I encourage with my husband, with my children, with my parents, fundamentally strong passwords. Not the same password for every account. which is why a password manager is helpful, just to collect all of that. There are other things like two-factor authentication. Those are really critical. And then just be aware of and cautious about how much information that you're sharing with others, especially on social media. I know it's a treasure trove for those you know and for those you don't know. If you've ever done a search of your name online, you might be surprised with just the sheer amount of information that you find. What's surprising is that there are data brokers or people search sites whose job it is to collect, to aggregate that information, and then sell that personal information. So we introduced a feature about a year plus back called personal data cleanup. And so what it does is it scans for those sites, reports back and says, this is all the information that is available about you on these different search sites or data broker sites, and then we'll help remove it from those sites. The average person has about 200 online accounts. I would expect that number is a lot higher for college-age students and young professionals, who grew up in the digital age from the very start. But a lot of those counts you've forgotten about or no longer use, but they've still got your information. And if those sites are breached, then that's more of your personal information that becomes available out there for potential abuse or misuse.
What are we looking at here as it relates to AI and privacy? I mean, we've already seen some of it, and AI has been around, obviously for a while, but most people are now more aware of it. Deep fake videos, scams, all of that are things that we talk about all the time, and people reach out to us. You mentioned your parents. What do you think this future looks like?
I think it's just to make our lives easier in so many different ways. I would say that the challenge that comes with that is it's also a tremendous arsenal of tools for cyber criminals at their disposal as well. It's becoming increasingly more challenging to distinguish what's real from what's fake when you're online, when you're checking a text, when you're checking email. And in the past, there used to be very obvious, very telltale signs if you looked and were able to distinguish a fake email, right? Very obvious misspelling words, very dramatic requests. But again, with the increasing usage of AI, it's made it a lot easier for cyber criminals to just present en masse a number of threats with the intent that at least hopefully some person will click. At McAfee, we introduced our deepfake detector solution on the AI PC earlier this year. And the focus is to alert consumers when a video they're watching is determined to be a deepfake and to provide that notification so that the consumer has that knowledge and can choose to at least have that insight if they choose to engage or just to disregard or skip that video altogether. Additionally, we introduced a capability a year and a half ago, text scam detector. And the focus of that, a lot of us are probably receiving a lot of deliveries at home. And you're probably receiving notifications saying, oh, we missed our delivery time. Just click this link and we can reschedule that delivery. And there are many instances where individuals will click that link. What our text scam detector does is in real time is examining that text. And if it determines if that link is suspicious, it flags to the consumer before they ever even have a chance to open that text. It's an exciting time. It's a challenging time.
This has been incredible, and honestly, just hearing about all your new tools. And do you have to be a subscriber for all of those tools? Are they free and accessible to any consumer?
We do offer a free trial for one of our initial comprehensive solutions. It's our McAfee Total Protection, but we also offer a 7-day trial for our protections through the app stores. So you can go to either Google Play or to the Apple Store and access our McAfee protections there as well.
That's awesome. You are wonderful. You are absolutely wonderful. Taking the time and just really, I've learned so much from this call and really feel like we're all together in this in terms of protecting privacy and online. So I want to thank you. I know France wants to thank you.
Thank you so much. This was a very nice conversation. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for your time.